Today's watery passage is something to contemplate and consider very carefully. It's completely unnatural for the wildebeest to swim it. It's a killer. But somehow they know it's a passage they must make. An hour after dawn, the first few pathfinders come to the river's edge to review the situation. You can almost feel a groundswell of anticipation and eagerness to get the ordeal over with. But no one's going anywhere until the pathfinders choose the perfect spot and the perfect time. The herd doesn't live by consensus. It follows, without question, its leaders. This isn't blandness. It's behavior forged on the anvil of experience and evolution. And it's the only thing that works. Finally, at 8:30 sharp, a pathfinder takes the plunge. There's no telling what currents or crocs await his bold move. And then they all go suddenly, using the same spot to enter the fast-flowing Mara. There's so much pent-up demand to get to the other side. It's almost comically single file, as if discipline were the first thing on their minds. But what is really happening here is fear. It's as if the river is a great predator, and their bodies and brains are reacting the same way that they must do when they're being singled out by the lions. They're running for their lives. The herd is in the grip of their own adrenaline. It's flight and fight. You can see it in their eyes. Much more of this and their hearts would explode. Still, like all trials that are tough, even for humans, this one too has its benefits. Wildebeest were created for this crossing. They're powerful swimmers, but the current is strong. The exertion and the stress exhausts and drowns some. Others, particularly the young and inexperienced, get confused by the noise and violence of the crossing. The old ones, too, are at risk. You can only survive this so many times. Actually, it's not so much getting into the water that's the problem. It's getting out where everything begins to go pear-shaped. The single column of beasts has grown to several across, all trying desperately to get up the slick bank. Their hooves and horns are as dangerous to their own kind as the teeth of the lions and crocs are. At this stage, all discipline is lost. The young and the restless hurl themselves headlong into the foam. Suddenly, their body chemistry has turned these docile and placid creatures into animal athletes capable of jumping 20 feet. On the other side, all is chaos. The fiercest of injuries can occur at this point, injuries that the lions are only too willing to take advantage of. The irony is that wildebeest kill and injure more of their own kind on the far banks of the Mara than are ever dreamt of by the crocs and lions. But this, too, is a sort of evolutionary weeding out of the herd. It's every creature for himself, never mind the herd, as they fight the downstream pull of the water and the deadly kicks of their relatives and siblings. Certain points along the bank are destined to become boneyards. No one is escaping from here unless he or she tramples on the body of someone else. It's pathetic, but this is the way it's meant to be. Sometimes a disoriented calf will return to the wrong bank, looking for its mother. But to attempt the crossing twice is a death sentence. Mothers have been known to do the same, seeking their calves. It usually ends up very bad. For the crocs, it's all an embarrassment of riches. They'll eat very well for some time. A solitary marabou stork supervises a pileup of wildebeest carcasses. This eddy in the river will be a fine source of protein for a great many creatures for days to come. Crocs from far downriver have followed the scent of death in the stream flow. Now is their time of plenty. There are hundreds of wildebeest bodies in the river, but they will all be clean and disarticulated skeletons in a few days. Sometimes we find vast collections of dinosaur bones in similar conglomerations like this, and we wonder how they came to be. This is how. Come to the banks of the Mara, and you can see a recreation of life in the deep past. This is the way of life, not death. To everything, there is a season. As the long day wanes, the Mara River flows calmly on, as if nothing has happened.